These are, there we go. I got you. Oh, you say up now? I deleted it and started it over. See, it's like this, the ignorance of this person. Why do Indians convince themselves there's something that they're not? And without asking me any questions or you don't speak on lives regarding slavery, that's because you haven't been on all my lives, because then you would know that what you just said is not true. You see what I'm saying? He's trying to determine what I've done and what I speak about. You ain't been on my lives. You ain't seen the videos. I speak on slavery quite often. Ignorance. Ignorance is sometimes, they say ignorance is bliss, but no, not all the times. And I know my family history. So why would I claim something that I'm barely am? But you know, he got to feel better. It make him feel good to think that everybody is the same as he is. But that's the thing. That's what it's saying. People want you to be what they feel that they are because they've been convinced of something, told something, grew up in something, something resonated with them in something. And they want you to be just the same because it gives them comfort in that. And that's the real secret of it all. People feel comfortable with other people being exactly like they are, experiencing the same level of misery and the same level of joy, because it gives them comfort in them not doing shit to change their lives or to do anything different in their life. And when you go do something different, they want you. Listen to this part. Listen to this part. When you go do something different in your life, they actually, the majority of people want you to fail. They want you to fail. And the reason why they want you to fail, because if you fail and then have to suffer through the recovery, it gives them the excuse to not go do anything new, because then they can say to themselves they've avoided the recovery, the pain of the recovery, not realizing through the recovery you can get stronger for your next attempt, right? For your next attempt. So they would rather you fail, because if you go out and you succeed, then that means that they don't have that excuse anymore. They don't have that excuse, but they are still afraid. And if they go out and they fail, because, you know, hell, I failed multiple times in multiple businesses before things start succeeding. And that's just how it happens. It's part of it. The difference between me is I don't give a shit what other people think if a business failed. You want to say something about a business not working? My sunglass shop and my candle shop and my watch shop not working? I don't give a damn what you say about it. You know, the economy changed on me. I shut down my gym. You want to say something about it? I don't care. Things changed with the popcorn shop. I'm pivoting it. But you close down the shop. I don't give a damn what you think. But most people care. Most people care about what other people think. But they want to keep you lockstep with them. And like Kiki said, misery loves its company. It loves its company. But y'all know me and Angelina are moving to Puerto Rico in January, at the end of January. I got my detractors. I got people who talking shit about it. People who don't want us to go. Because that means that they can get up and move. But they don't want to move. They don't want to move. So they don't want me to move. They don't want us to move. They want us to stay put. I'm sure that Angelina got people on her side of her cliques that don't want her to move, simply because that might make them feel like they got to do something. And when we do, they hope we fail. They hope we get there. They hope a hurricane come through and tear up everything. They hope that financially it's a ruinous situation. They hope that everything that could go wrong. I don't know, walk on the beach and get attacked by sand fleas to the point that you hospitalized. Whatever they can make up, because it keeps them. It keeps them. That's why I talk to people like my brother. Because I mean, he just told Angelina the other day, whatever you do, make sure you have my room ready within a month, because he gonna be there. You know, he ready to go. Shit. Hell, he thinking about selling his house now. I forgot to tell Angela that one. That joker thinking about selling his house. Like, shit, you going, well, man, I might need to sell this house so I can get the hell on too. Just saying. That's why you got to be mindful of who you surround yourself with. Who you surround yourself with. Very important. All right. Shut. 10 minutes and we still. Y'all can tell I love this chapter. Love this chapter. All right. Where we go? Where we at? Here we go. I'm going to keep talking about these people. The majority of people are carried along like the falling stone, obedient to the environment, outside influences, and internal moods, desires, etc. Not to speak of the desires and the wills of others stronger than themselves, hereditary environment, and suggestion carrying them along without resistance on their part or the exercise of the will. Move like pawns on a chessboard of life, they play their part and are laid aside after the game is over. But the master, knowing the rules of the game, rises above the plane of material life and place themselves in touch with their higher powers of their nature, dominating their moods, character, qualities, and polarity, as well as the environment surrounding them, and thus become movers in the game instead of pawns, causes instead of effects. The master do not escape the causation of the higher planes, but fall in with the higher laws and thus master circumstances on the lower plane. They thus form a consciousness part of they thus form a consciousness part of the law instead of being mere blind instruments. While they serve on a higher plane, they rule on the material plane. So I hope y'all got that. Thank you, Khalifa. I appreciate that. Even though I told you before, I want to call you Chloe. I like that name. But thank you, Khalifa. You want to get the hell on too? I know, girl. It's time to go, Kiki. Time to go. But that's the thing that I keep trying to get people to understand as far stop playing checkers and start playing chess. And even when you play chess, don't be a pawn. Don't be a pawn. And one of the ways that you in one of the primary when I'm gonna give y'all one of the lessons that I give people when I'm coaching them is to teach them how to master their emotions. When you are not a master over your emotions, you can find yourself falling into many different traps, falling into many different situations where you are not the causational player, but you are the pawn. You're not the master, you're the pawn. Mastering your emotions is key. And I'm gonna tell you, in every book, in most books I've read, I'm gonna say every, in most books I've read where it talks about success or having great relationships or mastering of yourself, emotional control is repetitive in every last one of them. If you study anybody who has been successful in anything, there is a mastery of their emotions that has to come in play. Only through the mastery of your emotions can you sacrifice certain things. Many people, I did the video where I was talking about, I gave you the link for my cousin's Acorn account so you can establish a practice of saving and investing, right? And also it's a practice of us helping each other out, helping, Black people helping Black people. But the thing about it is that most people can't master their desire to have certain material things. And because they can't master that desire of certain material things, they can never become financially wealthy. They can never become financially wealthy. And financial wealth is not a number that you hit. It's not, oh, I make $1 million, I'm financially wealthy. Well, I've had plenty of clients who were making $1 million and them jokers was broke. They was not wealthy. They were still like 2-3 paychecks away from being, starting to have to sell off everything. But being financially wealthy starts with you being a good financial manager. And one of those things that you have to do is to be able to deny yourself certain things until the right time frame where it can be purchased or experienced without you going, below, going outside of your budget. Oh, we want to take this cruise. You know what? I want to be in the suite, But the budget that we have for it says that we're going to be in the, on an inside cabin. But if we take the car notes and don't pay them this month, go ahead and get the suite, and then we'll pay a car note and a half, and then the next month we'll pay a car note and a half, and then we'll be all caught back up. And then you go and do that because you just got to be in a damn suite. And you go do it. You have fun. You had a great vacation. Oh, it's great, it's great, it's great. But then the next month come up, and you get a traffic ticket. That traffic ticket costs you $800. Well, now you can't make the payment in half. And then the next month, your motorcycle break down. You just use my motorcycle. My motorcycle break down, and you want to get it fixed. So you do that, you can't pay the payment in half. And then the next month, some other shit happened. And before you know it, you not lost 60 points on your credit. And then you want to move and buy a house, but you can't buy a house because you not lost 60, 70 points on your credit. Cause and effect, because you couldn't control your emotions. If you took your happy ass and went and had that inside cabin, which when you go on a cruise, you ain't spending that much time in the cabin anyway. Cabin is on for only the 3 reasons in the cabin: the shower, to sleep, and to fix it up. That's it. And no other reason to be in the cabin, right? And everything would have been taken care of. And by the time you got ready to buy that house, you would have had your credit score would have been fine, and everything's good to go. I'm just saying, if you got went, then wait another month so you put a little bit more money into the trip, and you can get your window. Kiki. And but see, that would be saying, I know I want to take this thing in May, but if I take it in May, I got to get an inside cabin. But if I wait till August and I can put a couple more months of savings into it because I'm doing my 70-10-10-10 plan, and I put a couple more months of savings, now in August, I can get the one with the window. Now, if you say I got to go in May because that's when there's a special cruise that's going on, then instead of start saving back in January, you should have started saving back in October. See what I'm saying? It's all about emotional control. Emotional control. So the more you control your emotions, then the more successful you are at being the causation for the things in your life. That's what that piece was saying right there. And if you've been with me for a while, you probably done heard that one from me quite a few times in other videos. You said get them free upgrades. Yeah, they be dark. That's why they got lights inside the room. Turn the light on. Plus, I like them dark like that. That way I can sleep better. I sleep better in total darkness. Total darkness. All right, so let's continue. But on the higher and the low, because it's talking about how the master, although the higher planes do rule over the lower planes, when you elevate your consciousness is working on the higher plane, so you control this matter plane, right? But you're up there with the higher conscious beings. This is one reason people who can achieve this type of control, this is one reason why they are more connected to the higher plane, and they deal with higher plane beings, than other people who don't. And this ain't the fake bullshit. I ain't talking about the fake emotional, BS. Oh yeah, God sent me a message and the angel came to me. No, it's nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. Nothing like that at all. It is instinctive, intuitional, and sometimes in your dream state, meditation state messages and workings that you get. But your instinctual energy will connect perfectly with your mental and your emotional. Those three will be in concert with each other. But it's when those three are not in concert with each other, you are just receiving conflicting messages within yourself. Just conflicting messages within yourself. But when this, and this are all in agreement, you working on a higher plane. Working on a higher plane. You and Kiki, y'all done got stuck on a damn cruise. I know not to give that as an example next time if y'all on here. All right, so continue. But on a higher, But on higher and on lower, the law is always in operation. There is no such thing as chance. The blind goddess has been abolished by reason. We are able to see now, with eyes made clear by knowledge, that everything is governed by universal law, that the infinite number of laws are but manifestations of the one great law, the law in which is the all. It is true indeed that not a sparrow drops unnoticed by the mind of the all, that even the hairs on your head are numbered, as the scriptures have said. There is nothing outside of law, nothing that happens contrary to it. And yet, do not make the mistake of supposing that man is but a blind automaton. Far from that. The hermetic teachings are that man may use law to overcome laws, and that the higher will always prevail against the lower, until the last has been reached. Until the last has been reached, the stage in which he seeks refuge is in the law itself, and laughs at the phenomenal law to scorn, at phenomenal laws to scorn. Are you able to grasp the inner meaning of this? Now, I'm going to read this again because I want you to grasp the inner meaning of this. The hermetic, wait a minute. There is nothing outside of law, nothing that happens contrary to it. And yet do not make the mistake of supposing that man is but a blind automaton. Far from it. The hermetic teachings are that man may use law to overcome laws, and that the higher will always prevail against the lower, until at last he has reached the stage in which he seeks refuge in law itself, and laughs the phenomenal laws to scorn. Are you able to grasp the inner meaning of this? So, y'all get that? I want to know if y'all got it. Before I start explaining, I want to know if y'all got it. Just yes, smiley face, heart, something if you got it. If you understood what that part was saying. I'm gonna light my cigar. Partially. Okay, cool. I got it partially. Kiki just telling me to explain it. It's 6 people. There's some more people on there. I want to hear if you got it. All right, so we'll break it down as it goes. So there is nothing outside of law, right? Nothing. Absolutely nothing functions outside of law. When we were talking about the all about a month ago, we understand that the all, because all things are in the mind of the all, the only thing outside of law is the all itself. But the all ain't in here Geppetto in your life. Let's not go there. But so everything, no matter what level of consciousness that we're talking about, abides by these laws. So you can't be outside of it. Now, do not make mistake of supposing that man is a blind automaton. Man is just not going through the motions. You are not just going through the motions. You're not just following a predetermined path. You have the capability of utilizing these laws at different spectral levels, though, not just in the matter plane of existence, but on higher planes of existence. So remember the law of correspondence: as above, so below as above, as within, so without, as without, so within. Remember we talked about that. The higher can affect the lower, and the lower can affect the higher. So we can affect different planes of understanding and different planes of consciousness, and we can affect different we can have different effects on every plane, as long as you are functioning within the law. But wait, The hermetic teachings are that man may use the law to overcome laws, and that the higher will always prevail over the lower. So if you are if you let your consciousness stay at a lower state, then you will always be the pawn. Whereas if you allow your consciousness to gain control over your emotions, control over your actions, control over how you think, then you are now raising your consciousness to a higher level where you are now affecting those things on the lower level. And one simple way of understanding that: does the baby control the parent, or the parent control the baby? 99% of the time, the parent is controlling the baby. There is that 1%. That 1%. The baby can cry out to the point of irritation that you don't want to hear it no more, that you're going to change the diaper, you're going to feed the baby, you're going to get the baby what it wants. That's that 1% opportunity that the lower is controlling the higher. And this is not about value or worth, but this is just the baby is not at the same conscious level of the matter plane of existence as the parent. The parent is controlling through its higher level what the baby does, what the baby sees, what the baby eats, where the baby goes, all these different things you're controlling. The only time the baby controls is when it cries to get on your damn nerves. And then the baby is in control. Take that to other levels of understanding. Somebody had asked me, not on this one, they had asked me about ghosts and seeing spirits and things of that nature. And one of the things I told them is that a ghost can't hurt you unless you allow it. A spirit above you, a spirit can't hurt you unless you allow it. The same thing my grandmother taught me about voodoo. My grandmother used to always tell me, voodoo can only hurt you if you allow it. If you believe in it and let it control how you function, then it can hurt you. But as long as you don't believe in it, don't allow it, you, for the most part, to use a term that she used, as long as you rebuked it, because she was Christian, but she had the hoodoo going. But it was, you had to rebuke it, but not just rebuke it she never told me rebuke it in the name of Jesus, even though she was Christian. But she used to tell me, you have to rebuke it. It's in your mind, your heart. She didn't really talk about the gut, but she talked about the heart and the mind. If you are strong enough in your heart and mind to rebuke whatever energy somebody's trying to put on you, then they can't rule over you, and yet you can rule over them. So the higher will always prevail against the lower, until at last he reaches the stage in which he seeks refuge in the law itself. So as we've been going on our journeys and we've deconstructed from 9 up until about 25, 27, I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It wasn't until after the age of around 27 that I started becoming more fully engaged of being out. Once I got out, this is where I decided to seek refuge in the law, seek refuge outside of what I was taught, what I grew up in, what I was trying to convince myself of. And I went 1%. This is where the Christians say, do not be lukewarm, be hot or cold. Right? So when you fully give in to it is when you become a master of it. And it says, and laughs the phenomenal laws to scorn. Because at that point, when you say that everything has a causation, there is no such thing as luck, chance, or miracle. You laugh when people says it was a miracle. The idea of chance or luck is laughable, because and you, as Elder T used to say, in your knower. I don't know what a knower is, but I just love the way she would say it. In your knower that there is no such thing as luck, chance, or miracle. That there is no deity that is ruling over you. That there is no rituals that you need to go follow. The only time I ever tell people to follow a ritual is when you're trying to create a habit. And that ritual could be anything. Like somebody trying to get me into this ritual of getting up early in the morning. I am not doing it. But so I need to shed about 20. I need to shed about 20 pounds. With the way my life is now, if I began the ritual of getting up in the morning, and this person wants me to get up at 5 o'clock on 3 mornings of the week, but just the ritual of when I get up with her after breakfast, and instead of going back to sleep, spend that time working out. That ritual, that's a ritual that you get into. And that's a ritual that you have the cause and effect power over. But the ritual of, yes, 5 a.m. is very sinful because it's a blasphemy to my soul. But when people say, what was it? It was that lady. I saw her one time. She's a famous preacher. And she told the people, they wrote down what they want to get rid of out their life. And she said, now spin around 3 times and toss it over your right shoulder. No, your left shoulder. Right? That kind of ritual is bullshit. That's that bullshit ritual. Because that, that right there does nothing to actually have an effect on anything other than the fact that you threw a piece of paper over your shoulder and you spun around in a circle. Now, emotionally, you're going to feel great. You're going to walk out that door after you give up some more of your money. You're going to walk out. Oh, I need a binder. That's who did that shit. You're going to walk out that door and you're going to feel like, yes. Oh, I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to lose that husband. I'm going to lose that wife. I'm going to lose that bad job and get me a new one. I'm going to lose this, being in financial debt. Oh, yes, yes. Now, let's go out to eat and celebrate that I'm going to lose this weight. And it feels good. A couple of days. Feel good. Get on the scale. Ain't feeling so good no more. That joker slapping you around. You don't feel so good no more. You still got to go to that job and you don't feel so good no more. A couple months go out. Those things don't work. Right. So burning bowls don't work, coach. It's all symbols. Hold on, Kiki. Burning bowls? I don't know what burning bowls are. I know I got my little meditation bowl. So now, those rituals understanding what I'm saying. The ritual within themselves don't work. It's just, it is a symbol, but it's not being applied appropriately. It's not being applied appropriately. See, what Juanita Bynum, I'm quite 100% sure, because it was like 5, 6, 7 years ago that she did this bullshit. If she wanted it to make any sense, then what she should have told those people is write the thing down, spin around 3 times, throw it over your shoulder. Now let's sit down and write an action plan as to how that thing can be achieved. Let's do a reverse engineering of that thing. And then and in that action plan, you're going to denote what steps you can take in order to overcome it. And do it for 21 days. We're going to 90 days creates a habit. 90 days. You need 90 days. 21 days. I forgot who promoted that, who shut things down to 21 days. But that was a promotional thing to get people to think they can get it done easier. But 90 days, it takes you 90 days of consistency to form a habit, right? Hypnotic, to get that hypnotic rhythm going, it takes 90 days at least. Sometimes it could take longer. But what she should, after you write down your action plan, then you start following that action plan. You put, rubber meets the road. You do the work, right? You do the work. Now, her spin around 3 times, throw it over your shoulder. What she should have told them, now, ladies, people, anytime that you feel, you messed up, you broken stride, or you feel you went out and you ate all the ice cream. I got some ice cream in the freezer. I just remember that. Anytime you go eat the ice cream, you You spend more money than you're supposed to spend. You don't go to the gym. You being lazy at work. I want you to write on that piece of paper again, spin around 3 times, throw it over your shoulder. Those symbols, those types of rituals are good to reinvigorate the emotion of excitement that you had to accomplish the thing when you fall off the wagon, right? So I don't know what a burning bowls are, but I have my meditation. Oh, now you're talking about the burning bowls where you write down the things that you want to have in your life, get rid of your life, you burn it, you put it, you hold it for like 21 days. That's where another 21 days thing comes in. You hold it for 21 days. Or if it's a sigil, you hold for 7 days, and then you put it in a bowl and you burn it and let the ashes float away. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. Yes, I know you're talking about that. So that's like the magic stuff. That's magic. That's what they would call magic. But even within that magic, it's always missing the link of the actionable points you're supposed to go do that you need to go do. I can do a sigil right now. I actually did a video like 8 years ago of how to create sigils. I can do a sigil right now, and I do sigils. Don't get me wrong. I do sigil work, right? I will write a sigil for something that I want to occur. I will put it under my chair, and I will put it there for 7 days. I even take the chalk, I draw a circle, and I put the sigil in the circle. But the thing about it, and then I sit with my meditation bowl and I'll focus on it. But then I write an action plan of what the sigil is. I write an action plan on that sigil, and then I start doing the actual work to manifest it. And that's the part that they always leaving out because they know people are lazy as hell. People lazy, and people want the easy way. We always want the easy way. I want the easy way. I do. I want the easy way as well. But the difference is that I recognize that I have to be willing to do the hard work. If you're not willing to do the hard work, it's never going to happen. The only thing that's easy that could happen and it doesn't take much effort is playing the lottery. But your prospects of winning are super low. Super freaking low. Way low. So what the hell is it? Oh, something is happening on TikTok that's making that noise. Or my phone, I don't know. But anyway, so I'm with you. Have those bowls, the rituals of burying stuff in the ground and doing circles and sigils. They are great symbolic things to remind you, to get your emotional energy going, to call on energy of other conscious beings, whether they are matter form conscious being or astral form conscious being, for calling on their assistance. But your ass still got to do the work. You still got to go out there yourself. You still got to put feet to the ground. You still got to, pat them heels, turn them corners. You still got to do it. Because until you move, increase your vibration, you will stay stagnant. Well, there's no such thing as stagnation. You will either vibrate to the left or only slight vibrations to the right. Very slight vibrations. Minimal swings. Because you're not putting any effort in that the value of the effort could swing 10 points to the left. So you can't get 10 points to the right. You only put 1 point you only put enough energy in for 1 point to the right. So you only get 1 point because you're only willing to risk 1 point to the left. How much risk did you take by spinning around in a circle and throwing something over your shoulder? How much risk did you take by writing it down and putting it in a bowl and burning it? Right? But if you want somebody out of your life, it takes you not talking to them no more. It takes you moving away from them, not dealing with them, not answering their phone calls, not showing up and meeting with them, not going on dates with them or hanging out with them. You have to use the energy that says I'm going to straight ignore this person. What's the pushback is that you can find yourself without anybody. You can lose some other friends who think that you're wrong for what you're doing. You could lose some family members who think you're wrong for what you're doing. That person could become violent. There's some risk involved. if you're unwilling to take that, you have to be willing to take that risk in order to get way the hell over here where they are non-existent in your life. And you can take precautions. If you was here in the lounge yesterday, we talked about some of those precautions you can take when you don't want somebody in your life and in person, or when people come into your life who are not being nice. You'd have thought it was a gun show in this damn place last night. That's every cigar lounge. You ever go in a cigar lounge? It's the safest place in the world. It's one of the safest places in the world. Everybody packing. And everybody on the same team. But the point is, you have to be willing to take that risk. You have to risk everything to the left in order to get everything on the right. If you're not, then you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. Right? It's not going to happen at all. So if you want great relationships, if you want to love yourself, have a great relationship with yourself, if you want to open a business, if you want to travel the world, there are certain risks that you're going to have to take. And as soon as you control your emotions, then you can. And that's what it's saying, giving into the law, giving into that law. When you give into the law of cause and effect, you will begin to elevate yourself and become a higher conscious being than everybody else around you. Everybody else around you. And I'm sorry for the few people who watch this that come to this lounge, but sometimes I feel irritated because they say the saying the other day, you never want to be the smartest person in the room, right? And I looked around the room and I was like, damn, that's me. And I was so irritated because I don't want to be. I understand that thought process and I don't want to be. So I'm starting to, I'm creating a list of things to put out that will attract more. Not that, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging the intelligence of the people who come here. It just, I have recognized that I've been different my whole life. Most people don't take the time to deeply think about things that I deeply think about. My lady was laughing at me last night because I was looking at the ceiling and she was like, what's on your mind? I was noticing the pattern of certain little indents in the ceiling. And it had to be when they was painting it and putting it up, where a small person had to been holding it, pressing it with their thumb to hold it up, and it created a slight little indent. And you can see they had a habit of pressing it in certain spaces. And I would imagine that's where the squares were, but you can't see the lines because it's painted over. So in my mind, I'm going through all of that. Most people don't think about it. That's like, why are you thinking about that stuff? But I think about things like that all the time. She looked at me like I was crazy because, but I'm always thinking about different things like that. So I recognize there are some things I'm gonna do to entreat people who think like that to come by here from time to time, so that I can have more mental stimulation. Now, when she comes, me and her, we have mental stimulation, but she's not here all day with me. I deal with not most people don't think that way. I would love it if they did. The teacher, which you are, is always one of the most intelligent people in the room. Yeah, I know. I don't like it. No, it's all right. It's all right. And it's hard because I'm interested. I love to study almost anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I could pretty much have a decent conversation with anybody about most things. There's very few things I haven't at least taken some time to learn enough about that I can have a conversation with. Did I ever tell you guys about, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys ever heard it. There was a time that I was driving Uber or Lyft, or driving Lyft in order to, I had opened up the store in South DeKalb Mall. It wasn't making the kind of money I needed to make, and I knew I was going to want to get out of that lease. So we're all ignorant. It depends on the subject. Yeah, some subject matters I'm very ignorant on because I don't know them. But I was sitting there and I'm driving this Lyft, right? And I pick up these people. They're going to the the convention center. And I'm listening to them talk. And I was like, so what are you guys doing here? And they're like, oh, we're going to this convention. What's the convention center? Oh, it's on some kind of biology, microbiology, and something like that, right? And so we're driving, and I start asking what do they do, and one person was like, well, this person is trying to, they work with cellular structure. This person works with cellular detoxification. This person, so they do these different things as far as dealing with the cells. And so I said, okay, I got a mission for you guys. This is right before they got to get out. So I got a mission for you guys. I said, what I need you guys to work on for me. I said, you understand that aging happens because in each cell, every time it duplicates itself, it loses its telomeres. So, but cancer cells, and they do cancer research. And I said, but cancer cells, they don't lose their telomeres, and they replicate at the same strength over and over again, which is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to kill it. I says, but if you could figure out how cancer cells maintain their telomeres, but place that in our cells so that we are rejuvenated, then we could practically live forever because our bodies regenerate themselves in totality every 7 years. Some organs rejuvenate within like 2 years, 3 years. And I was like, but since then we can pretty much live forever, barring any natural disasters or something like that, any accidents, right? I said, so work on telomeres being not diminishing as our cells divide. Then you will cure aging. It would also make you rich and famous. Got to give them a little whiff of, right? What's in it for them? And so they was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting. And so they're getting out the car, and I hear one of the guys he said, who would have, wait, I want to say it the way he said it. He said, who would have thought a fucking Lyft driver would be in there talking about telomeres and stuff? I wasn't insulted. I just laughed my ass off when he said, they shut the door and I drove off. I was laughing my ass off because the guy was like, what the fuck? And what's crazy is that I guarantee that those 3 people probably told other people, as a man, let me tell you this bullshit that was happening in the car. But they might tell that one person who, although they're telling it as listen to this bullshit, who says, maybe I should go start working on that. And then they go get it done. I'm just saying. And if you think about it, it would be a good fighter against cancer because then even your cells that work in your immune system would then be stronger as well as you get older. So when you get older, you're not as susceptible to diseases. You see what I'm saying? Isn't it wonderful that God bless you with the intelligence you have and the ability to speak at all levels? God did not bless me with that. I can tell you that right now. God did not bless me with that. That comes from I grew up poor. The only books we had were the encyclopedias in the house. Y'all know the green and white ones. Now, when the Britannica came out, who couldn't tell me nothing. But I had a love of reading because my love of reading because I was read to a lot as a small child. So reading was a refuge for me. So reading became a thing for me. And because the only thing that my grandmother had to read was the encyclopedia, and I read them things over and over again. At one point, I could tell you every breed of dog, every capital in the world, every capital in the United States, every country, every body of water. And I used to know that damn encyclopedia inside and out. But it is not a God blessed thing. It is a developed thing. It's something that I developed about myself and then had a desire to develop it even further. So, no, you can claim, but I don't. I don't. No, there's no God blessing of that. But I appreciate, don't get me wrong, I don't want our way. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate because I still take what you said as a compliment. Okay. So I'm still here with you. I take it as a compliment. I am also a little anal about when things are directed towards me, the correct thought process as far as how I see things, as far as they deal with me. If you understand what I'm saying, it can sometimes seem assholery, but I'm not really being an asshole about it. It's just like when the guy was earlier trying to tell me that I'm Indian. Nah. The fact that you even use the term Indian should tell you something about yourself. To use the term Indian is Native Americans shouldn't use the term Indian. If you believe that you're native or indigenous, you should be saying indigenous or native. The only Indians are the one in India, right? So the fact that he used the term Indian, in the back of my mind, as I was talking about other stuff, I was like, well, this person not even really worth some of the mental gymnastics that it would take, because you are defining. They would talk about and say that I don't talk about slave trade, which he obviously haven't seen plenty of my videos. It shows me that this is a person who is still thinking in an indoctrinated way, because why would you call them Indians when that was a name that was forced on them by European oppressors, because they thought they was in the wrong, they thought they was somewhere, oh, you should have, but live and let live. See, now we passed 12 o'clock. When I got through the whole chapter, next week we'll do the chapter of the law of gender. And for those who didn't know, we're doing the book, the Kybalion. Thursday is book club day from 10 till noon. And then we talk about whatever, however the conversation goes. But it's book club day. This is the book that we've been doing for the last month or so. And there'll be the law of gender next week, which is going to be very interesting. Because yes, I'm going to go there about these fucking pronouns when we talk about the law of gender. Even though it really doesn't deal with that too much, but I'm going to talk about it. It does deal with that in a certain way, but I'm going to talk about it. But yeah, why would you call somebody, like, when I was talking about that, there's a little bit of Creek, and I didn't say Creek Indian, I said Creek, because that was the tribe. So if you're talking about indigenous, you should identify by the tribe, or you identify as Native American or Indigenous American, but not Indian. Because why would you give in to what some dude who didn't even know how to sell a ship, but he was a good con man, to Ferdinand and Isabella. He was a good con man. And I think that there's no proof of this at all, but just in the way things happen, I think Columbus was banging Isabella. I think he was banging Isabella, because he got into the court and he was hanging around the court, but she was the main one who was pushing for him. So, the twinkle in the eye, I think he was giving her the ping ping, personally. No evidence whatsoever. None. But anyway, this Joker gets over here to was it the Bahamas that he got to? First, the Bahamas or Hispaniola, one of them damn islands. It was the Caribbean with the Tianas. And yeah, he said, he called them, these people walk up, tell them what they are called. He said, nope, y'all Indians, because I'm in India, goddammit. And even after they realized they're not in India, they didn't correct it. Yeah, I'm thinking, exactly, Renee. I'm thinking he was hitting it. He was banging that out. So, sorry. In that regard, when he said you're Indian, I kind of dismissed him right then, mentally, because you're mentally held on an oppressive state. Sorry, there's somebody just walking back and forth right here. They can't see me, but I can see them. I have mirrored windows, so I can see out, but they can't see you. I didn't know she was trying to come in or not. But yeah. So you necessarily, wait a minute, hold on. Seizures since 14 and now seizures free last 2 years. I'm 53. Memory is a blessing. You did your work also. Bless you too. And that's cool. No seizures. Love it. You necessarily need proof to gain inference. necessarily need. I'm a little lost on what you mean by that one, Chuck. It's probably something crazy, but do I need proof to gain inference about what? About Columbus and Isabella? I don't need no proof. I'm just gonna make that shit up. I'm just taking a big old guess. She must be waiting on an Uber or something. Coach, I believe your interest in things is the engine of your mind, but some people have more of a capacity to absorb and retain information. I agree with you 1% on that one. Not everybody. Not everybody's going to be able to absorb and retain and retain information like that. Yeah. Oh, we can put two and two together. Exactly. But not everybody's going to be able to do that. And we all do it at different levels. And you have to have an interest in certain things. Like I know people who wouldn't reading a book like this, no, they're not going to be able to absorb it or, retain it. Give them a damn sports almanac. Oh yeah, because in 1996, his basketball rating was a 96, and he shot 38% from three, averaged 26 rebounds, and then in 93, they can go all in on that. So you definitely have to have an interest in something, and I think what you're able to retain for most people, what you're able to retain is what you have an emotional attachment to. Like if you've emotionalized that information where it's like it gives you happiness, gives you joy, you're just into it, you got a passion for it, you're able to retain that information even more. I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret something. I have yet to discover what I am truly, truly, truly passionate about. Don't get me wrong. I love these. I love doing this. I love it. I enjoy it. I look forward to it. I love cigars. But when I got this dental work and Angelina was picking on me because she was like, ooh, 5 to 7 days, no cigars. I'm like, ain't gonna be a big deal for me. I went when I was saving money to open up the popcorn shop. I went years without smoking a cigar because it feasibly just I'm not spending money on something like that while I'm trying to do something else. There has not been a business yet that I've started that I was like passionate about. You know, I am jealous of people who actually have found something, who have things they're passionate about. But I have a love for knowledge of just knowledge of anything, everything. You know, I watch nature shows all day. Can't watch them cooking shows all day, even though they are interesting sometimes. But yeah, I just learning stuff is just fun for me. It'll go right ahead. Yep. Read 5 pages. Becomes a level for the sofa. My passion is searching for the truth. I love searching for the truth. Passionate. I don't know. For me, the word passion just, I don't know. It just has this thing, this just like you gotta have it, like every day, like water. You know, I don't know. Studying, researching, especially things that like the truth, it's probably the highest love. It's probably the highest. It's probably the highest. I don't know. Maybe if I would have became an archaeologist, like you know, I was supposed to, maybe I would have discovered. Maybe that would have been it. I don't know. That dude convinced me not to become one, but um, I know what you're talking about over there. Smiley face. That's right up there too. I ain't gonna lie. If I understood the inside joke that somebody trying to make, yep, intimacy. I'm very. It's right up there, right there with it. It's right up there. All right. That is very important. This has got a tunnel. Um, but yeah, we I would like to find that one day. So one friend of mine back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like 6, 7, 8 years ago, tried to get me to start an organization teaching all this kind of stuff because he was saying that would I would discover my passion, and that's probably my passion. And he might be right, but I don't want to be responsible for anybody's life. You know, one of the scariest things I've ever experienced was having children and realizing that who these people that I am like intricately in charge of who these people become. I don't like being in charge of somebody's life, which is why I did a pathway of raising my children of just helping them to discover their own lives. And I know that that can be out for somebody to type it. That could be the process as far as starting an organization. You're just helping people find a pathway for their own life. I already know you ain't got to say it, but I'm just saying when you start an organization that's spiritually based, yeah, you can you are going to attract people where you know that you controlling them. So where you do look a little Indiana Jones, which the Indiana Jones movies are some of my favorite movies, except for that Crystal Skull piece of shit they put out. And I'm kind of leery about the one they're getting ready to come out. I'm gonna watch it anyway. I'm gonna watch it anyway. Yeah, but yeah, I do. I do love the Indiana Jones character and all those movies, especially like The Last Crusade. That was one of the best Indiana Jones movies for me. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, great movies. That Last Crusade, I love that one because you know got Sean Connery in it as well. But I don't know, starting an organization, and then I'm not right. I'm telling y'all right now, I ain't right. People going, people expect you to be perfect. Nah, Raiders of the Lost Ark was good. It was good. The CGI didn't age well though. That last scene, the CGI didn't age well with the little ghostly things swirling around it. But um, shit, made me forget what I was saying. Oh, I'm not perfect, and I, to me, if you become a leader of that type of thing, you have to, you damn near got to be perfect. And I will stand up there and tell people, I ain't perfect. Don't look at me as, oh, as long as he acting right, then I can keep following, figuring out what my path is. No, I'm just here as a guide. That's it. I mean, even what you got, I'm just here as a guide. My shit is not perfect. It is not going to be perfect. It don't ain't gonna ever be perfect. Matter of fact, I don't want it to be what not you individually, but what you as people would call perfect. Because what some of y'all would call perfect to me is boring as hell. Like somebody got mad at me because they said, "Oh, if you want to be being more credible and everything, you shouldn't curse. Or if you want to be more credible, you shouldn't go off on people." No, some people need to be go. You need to go off on some people. And damn it, sometimes I like freaking cussing. I gotta emphasize the moments. So yeah, I don't want that. And what do most of these people get in trouble for? They get in trouble for some financial stuff, and they get in trouble for some sexual stuff. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I like nice things. I'm gonna have nice things. I'm gonna tell you how you can get some too. And you know, because of all that, I don't want to hear nobody talking shit to me about what I got. And then I love intimacy. And I like a whole bunch. I like levels of intimacy that other people think is like, ooh, oh my gosh. I ain't got time for your judgment. You go to hell. Don't care why you left. Take me off the list. What the hell you talking about? Ain't nobody put you on the list, Jacob. I don't know what list you're talking about. If you're talking about the fact that it popped up in your scroll, that's just Facebook's algorithm. So let me explain, Jacob. If you're still there, I don't know. Probably not. No, you ain't there. So no reason for me to explain. Can we briefly speak on astrotheology? Yes, we can. And and you work hard for your shit. Yes, I do. For example, Noah's Ark is really Argo Navis. I don't know who. I don't know Argo Navis. What I do know, as far as Noah's Ark, and it's funny you talk about that because um, yesterday I was going to do the whole flood story. I was going to talk about the flood yesterday, but the way my day went, my morning went, I wasn't able to do it live yesterday. Oh, it's a boat constellation. Well, we might find some disagreement in that one because I believe that Noah's flood is actually based on a natural event that did happen around 13,000 years ago, which is why people around the world do have flood stories. But understand, those people around the world who have flood stories are um, they are they were coastal. Sorry, couldn't get the word coastal in my head. Um, so these were coastal people. So and as far as the Noah story was it was the Hebrew people coming out of the captivity, and they knew the Gilgamesh story with Utnapishtim when Gilgamesh went and saw Utnapishtim and told him about how Zarathustra survived this flood that lasted 6 days, and he collected these animals because his daddy Enlil told him that the flood was coming. And but let me because the Sumerian, which gets broken all the way down to the Babylonian story, is more akin to what actually happened naturally than the Noah bullshit. Uh, well, no, it did hurt. No, it did happen all over the world. It did happen all over the world. Let me explain. So the Sumerian version goes like this. The Sumerian version says that um, it says that Nibiru was going to come past the earth a little closer than it normally does, and it was going to cause these ice sheets to melt, and those ice sheets melting, it was going to cause this flood. Now the Sumerian story said the flood would happen all over the world, but the Enlil told the Anunnaki, said, "Hey, all the royalty, y'all are up in the spaceships. All the half-breed Anunnakis, either tell them to go up to tall mountains or build boats." Right. So this is why, like in Peru's flood story, they went to the highest mountains. In India stories, they went to the highest mountain. In Sri Lanka, highest mountain. Japan, boat. China, highest mountain. Um, the Some of the Mesoamericans, which were on flatlands, build boats. So some of them boats, some of them were mountains, depending upon the territory that they was in. Right now, Enlil was doing this, and because he wanted all the humans to die because he thought humans were making too much noise, which is stupid. But he said humans were making too much noise. He wanted all the humans to die, but he was trying to save the Anunnaki and the half breed Anunnaki. Well, Enki had sex with Zuasutra's mother, and Zuasutra, yeah, with Zuasutra's mother. And I forgot Noah's daddy name, but whatever the hell his daddy name was, that same character is in the Sumerian story, and he's like, "Oh, this ain't my child," and he's like, "Well, he looks like one of the gods, and so raise him as your child." So he did, and that Zuasutra he grows up, and he's albino, by the way. Um, so Zuasutra then builds a boat according to how Enki tells him to build a boat, and then he tells him to take the seed of every animal and every plant and put it on the boat. Not the animal itself, but the seed. So it sounds like some test tube stuff going on. And then the flood comes, and then the boat rests on the mountain. He sends out two ravens, and then he sends out a dove, and then the dove doesn't come back, and that's how Zuasutra know, okay, everybody get off. Let's get off the boat. We get this dry land. All right. What that now, of course, the Noah story takes from that and creates their Noah dude, which most of the first parts of Genesis is a copy of the Sumerian stories. What most likely happened, which also, if you look at other people's flood stories, flood myths, is that around 13,000 years ago, we was coming out of the Younger Dryas period, which was the last ice age, right? So you had an ice age that was destroying and messing up civilization. So all the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, half of it covered by ice. Just the middle area, not so much, but the temperature is still already dropped. Now, what science have been able to do by rewinding the clock on solar radiation of the earth and the magnetics of the earth is to find that around about 12 to 13,000 years ago, there was immense more solar spot activity going on, solar flares going on. When that happens on the earth, our magnetic field gets all janky and allows more radiation to come in, which then can quickly melt the polar caps. So going through the ice age, they see that this happened right around that 12,000 years ago with the sun. So this is why those polar caps of the Younger Dryas, because at first they couldn't understand how did all that ice melt in 6 days? That was the big mystery about the Younger Dryas period, is that in 6 days it all melted. And by the way, the Sumerian story says that the rains and all that stuff lasted for 6 days. So they couldn't understand it. But then this solar activity, we're winding the clock on solar activity. Now they understand why it all melted in 6 days. An ice age melting in 6 days creates tsunamis, storms, all kinds of hail on Earth. But at that time, the sea levels rose 400 feet. 400 feet. You gotta understand, if the sea level rises 10 feet right now, most of Florida is underwater. Just 10 feet, Florida is gone. It's underwater. Oh, goddamn, almost the whole state. Georgia got a whole new coastline. You see what I'm saying? So imagine sea levels rising 400 feet. Islands like the Bahamas and Cuba and all that was much bigger. All land masses were much bigger back then. So with all that water rushing in a 6-day period with tsunamis and flooding, of course, the people aren't ready for it. They ain't have weather satellites, and they all get jacked up, and that's why they all have these flood stories, and they all thought it was just happening to them, and it destroyed their societies. But the interior people who lived on the interior, they don't have these flood stories. They have ice age stories, but they don't have flood stories, like that. So that's actually, when I look at the Noah story, I don't see it as much as an astrotheology, other than the ideas of Enlil and Enki and so on and so forth. Now, could they have then later attributed that to what they see in the sky? Sure, I can get down with that, because one thing about looking at the stars, yeah, we can look, and because the Big Dipper has been identified to us, we can see it. But if you was never, everybody didn't look at the same constellations and draw the same pictures. You know, the only reason the Greeks had Orion the hunter is because they learned from the Egyptians about that constellation was Osiris, and they redrew. Now, here's the thing: they had a a set, Isis, with the star Sirius, the star Sirius. The Greeks well, not the Greeks, and not the first Romans, but the later Romans, when the Christian church took over, those later Romans redrew the constellation of Isis and made it into the dog star constellation, because one of the biggest groups that they was trying to shut down was those Romans who worshiped Isis, especially in France. That's why Paris is Isis. You know, is because there's a lot of Isis. If you go through Paris, you can find a lot of old Isis worship symbology in and around Paris. But if that's Paris' name, Isis, you know, it's the worship of Isis. Oh, I know who this dude is. I got to unlock the door. Um, so they redrew it though to make it a dog star, to make the woman a dog. You see that bullshit right there? So, but there can be possible correlations. Whether they came first or second would be the thing. Let me unlock this door. I don't know if this dude, usually he's in and out. He don't normally stay. Oh, this is a different dude. I thought that was my black dude electrician. Hey, man.
What's going on, boss?
Oh, how you doing?
I ain't seen you in a minute.
I know, I ain't seen you in a minute either.
You doing some work?
Nah, I doing you a little live.
Oh, really?
But you all right. Yeah.
I'm gonna hit the, you know what?
Still got the same deal, daily deal. You hanging out with me today?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is my different electrician dude. So he's gonna be hanging out with me today, guys. You know, we'll set up a thing where we do, like maybe next Wednesday, we'll do Monday or Wednesday, we'll do astrotheology, and we can dig a lot deeper into it. So yeah, because there are some correlations. There is a whole, that actually is a lot about astrotheology within a lot of these books, you know, with the whole ages that you move into, the representation of the age of the ram, the Pisces, and all this kind of stuff. And it goes even, especially if we're going to deal with them, you know, if we're going to do that. And if we're going to do that, had to switch microphone, then we'll definitely get into the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Hafarians and the Dogon, which is where my family comes from for that dude. My father's family, for that dude who was on here earlier, my father's family comes from the Dogons. So we'll talk about them and some others. So we'll plan that for either Monday or Tuesday, Monday or Wednesday, because you know Tuesday we do What's Wrong with the Bible, and so I will see you guys then. I'm probably not going to do a video tomorrow because I'm driving down to Savannah for a wedding, so I won't do a live tomorrow, and I'll just pop in a bunch of videos Friday, Saturday, Sunday like normal. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. Share these videos. Y'all better share these videos, and then go and follow Really Did You Know? Follow Angelina's page. There's some great information. The Cat Got Your Tongue video that she did yesterday, I never knew that's where those terms "cat got your tongue" came from. Y'all want to go check out that video, "Cat Got Your Tongue"? I was like, I'll be damned. We had to, when I saw her, I was like, we got to talk about that. But that one and my other page for my cigar smokers, Smoking Phoenix cigars, and in and out to legacy business. That's where we're going to talk about making money and doing business and that sort of thing. So y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all on regular videos and live. I will see y'all next week. Party time. It's time to go to the party.